So Mick Corrigan here from Action Coach, doing another UK business spotlight. And today I'm delighted to introduce you to Liz Russell. Liz is the founder and managing director of EnviroSystems. So tell us all about EnviroSystems then.
Well, basically, it was a company that I started in 2001 with the sole purpose of developing a new product for dairy farmers. They were very short of cow bedding in those days, or in that year, because it was the foot and mouth year, and they were very short of bedding. So I identified a raw material that was in large quantities that needed reprocessing. And we managed to do that and get it to these dairy farmers. So that was in 2001. It was taken up very successfully. And by 2006, we actually were awarded a Queen's Award for Innovation, which was a proud moment meeting the Queen. Since then, EnviroBed has grown and grown and grown. We have 3 sites now that produce it. We work with 3 different large international paper mills in doing the recycling of their raw material that they can't use to make into paper. So that's where we are with EnviroBed, and it currently accounts for 80% of our sales and turnover.
And who are you dealing with? Who are your customers? What type of customers have you got?
The
farmers, I'm guessing.
Yeah, farmers, livestock farmers, but mainly milk producing livestock farmers, which is the dairy industry. And the reason for that is they need a very high welfare, high hygienic material to bed their cows on when they're inside in the winter, because they're producing milk, which has to be clean and healthy. So our bedding actually does a great job. It's almost like a cow toilet roll. Cows need it all the time, and they get a fresh bedding every day. It's very absorbent. It dispels bacteria, and it keeps them clean and able to produce more milk.
Oh, right. So the bedding itself has a direct impact on the cow's capability to produce.
It does, because cows, when they're out in the fields, they will spend anything up to 13 or 14 hours a day lying down. So what we need to do is encourage a cow to lie down as much when she's inside in the winter. So our bedding helps to do that. And if they do that, they will produce more milk because they're resting more.
Oh, right. And what impact does that have on the quality of the milk then?
Yeah, it improves the quality. It also produces, improves the length that the cows live. So cows can live up to 20 years. However, most of them don't. And they can also have 14 or 15 calves, but most of them don't. So the average in this country is about 5 or 6 calves. But with a good bedding and then being able to lie down comfortably, they will achieve that. Whereas if they're not on a good bedding, they'll pick up a disease and then not be able to produce the milk. And the farmer has to take that cow off to market to sell it.
So your bedding is not a cost, it's an investment.
It is an investment, yeah. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that if you say to a farmer, what proportion of your overall outlay, this is a dairy farmer, is put towards bedding, it's only 2.5% of all their costs. So it's not a large cost anyway. And it's well worth spending all that 2.5% or even a little bit more. Not worrying about the cost per tonne, but buying what they need to buy for it to do the job.
Yeah, because they can produce higher volume, so more litres of high quality milk.
Yeah.
And their cows, their machines, if you will, last longer.
Exactly.
So the factory is producing good quality stuff for a longer period of time.
Yeah. Because the thing about a cow that doesn't produce very much milk because she might be ill, she's still eating as much food as the cow that does produce the milk. And it's the food that costs a lot of money. So this bedding, which is why I'm so proud of EnviroBed, because it was developed to do that job. most beddings that farmers have a choice of buying is just happens to be there. It's a waste out of the wood industry. It's sawdust, or it's shavings, or it's something from something else. This was, whilst it is a byproduct of the paper industry, it's developed entirely to provide a hygienic bedding for dairy cows.
So what is the differential then? What differentiates your product to those other options?
The supply is consistent, the quality of it is consistent, and the supply is consistent. So the wood yards shut down over Christmas, which is precisely when farmers want their bedding. And they said, well, you can't have any because there isn't anything coming out of the wood yards. They've closed down for 2 weeks. So there's a lot of things that we have set up with our business that cater for the farmer and the cows, that the sawdust industry, which is 80% of the bedding choice, aren't offering.
Absolutely. Wow. So what does the future look like?
The future looks very good, actually. As I say, we've improved our profit. It's gone up by 20%, and turnover, because we do other products as well, Mick. But this is the one that, you know, it's the cash cow, if you like. We produce a lot.
Pardon the pun.
We sell a lot. Yeah. Therefore, the turnover's a lot. And as a proportion, the profit is a lot as well. So it's caters for 80% of everything that we earn. So as a result of that, we decided to really focus on the marketing and spend the money on EnviroBed. So the future looks, and that's working very well. We've made quite a few big changes in our business, and you know, we kind of overcome some of the challenges of growing a business. It's no good growing a business if all you're going to do is grow your overheads. So we've been very careful not to grow our overheads. We have one site that produces EnviroBed that we own, and then we've got 2 other sites who contract dry for us. So we're not actually committing too much of our investment into the production, although we have extensive production facilities across the country in different places. So it's looking very good.
So there's lots of opportunity. What challenges might there be going forward?
Oh yeah, we've quite a few challenges. One of them is the raw material supply, which the new paper mills, and there are quite a few new ones setting up in this country now, because of the cardboard industry, because of Amazon and all the online purchasing. But those mills have a different approach they're more modernised, and they don't produce as much of the raw material we like. That said, we do have 3 large international paper mills that we do business with. We've got contracts with them, and we're in a safe place with raw material at the moment. But it's always something in the forefront of my mind. The other challenge is overheads and fixed costs. Because we're in a manufacturing business and we have our own site, the electricity's gone up massively, rates has gone up massively, insurance and compliance is quite a big thing as well. That's on top of the cost of manufacturing. So keeping an eye on overheads is a big thing for us, and it's a challenge.
So you've had an interesting couple of decades. You got to a great place by the sounds of things. What have been the learnings along the way?
The learnings along the way, yeah, some good ones really. You know, they always say you can't put an old head on young shoulders, and so I was a young head on young shoulders. However, I've become more experienced as time's gone on, and I probably haven't used my experience as much as I should have done. I've been relying on brought-in experts, consultants, if you like, and being a farmer's daughter, I do understand farming and farmers and their challenges, and my gut instincts these days I'm starting to realise, somewhat too late, that they're usually right. I listen to others now and get their opinions because I'm a team player, but I have the confidence to say, in my opinion, I think we should do this. And these are the reasons. And it's based on experience. Because over the last 10 years, probably more than the early years, we've gone down a lot of rabbit holes. And they don't actually generate the income. They take a lot of time up and don't generate growth in your business or income, which is what it's all about. So that's one thing I've learned.
Trust your gut, yeah.
Another thing is to be authentic. I think it's probably my most valuable trait because I've always believed that farmers, for example, shouldn't use a lot of fertilizer to grow their grass. We do another product besides EnviroBed called Slurry Bugs, and it's a bacteria product, and you put it into the cow slurry, it stops it smelling and it fixes in the nitrogen. Then the farmer uses it to grow grass. And in the past, they've used far too much bought-in fertilizer, in my opinion, and it's cost them a lot of money because they've been following the fertilizer instructions, etc. But actually, it's proved now, 20 years down the line, that what I was saying was actually right at the time. I've never said anything any different. And 50% of the farmers now are using a lot less fertilizer. They're doing regenerative farming practices and sustainable farming, and it's being supported by the government as well. So it's a good feeling that something I've been saying for all these years, everybody's coming on board now and doing it.
So one of your other learnings, Liz, is that you're ahead of your time.
Yeah, yeah, it was, and it's been a hard message really to tell farmers because they haven't listened. But that's probably what happens, isn't it? When you're a pioneer, you just have to keep believing in what you do and just keep going.
So one last question, Liz. If you could start all over again, hypothetically,
Yeah.
with the benefit of hindsight, knowing what you now know, what would you do differently?
I would do a few things differently. The first I would do is buy my own premises. I'd either buy it through the business or buy it privately and make the business make enough money to pay that off. I've rented, it's cost a lot of money over the years. We now have a long-term lease on our drying plant site and offices, which is better than renting, but it's not as good as owning. So if you can see your way to buying, do it. The second one is pay a lot of attention to business contracts and agreements with your key suppliers. You need that protection. I was told to do it, and two of my suppliers wouldn't actually sign an agreement. I asked them and asked them and asked. What I should have done was walk away, because if a company won't sign an agreement, then they are not the sort of company you want to do business with. Simple as that. So that's number two. Number three is spend more time working on the business. I know that everybody says this, but it's so true. You need to get the infrastructure right. And I think I did in the first 10 years, but I think I went a bit off track in the second 10 years. As the business grew and I was looking at growth, and we got up to 22 members of staff, and the overheads were massive, and we couldn't sell enough product to pay all the overheads and leave a profit for the business owners. So now we're a team of 12, and we're getting through just as much work. We have one site instead of two, and our overheads are down. So growth is with working on the business and working on strategy, you can identify where your efforts need to be. So now we do weekly scorecards for sales and marketing, accounts, and production and quality. Every week I can look at that, and if something's going a bit pear-shaped, I say, come on, let's look at this. And you need that detail. You need access to that detail as a business owner.
So you're talking there, Liz, about KPIs, key performance indicators.
Yeah, Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I've mentioned business growth already. It's really hard, and you need good accountants, good solicitors, and a trustworthy coach. I've only two more, Mick.
Yeah, fire away.
So getting HR right is absolutely vital. I've made massive strides in success in this since I hired an in-house HR person, because they understand our business, they understand who we need and what their passion needs to be, and the training. And so good businesses are made up of good people. And we've got that right recently, since about 2020. So lastly, I would run it as I do now. I wasn't running it like this, which is on my terms, which are clearly written down. This avoids being on a hamster wheel and running faster and faster to stand still. So the key is to identify if this is happening and stop doing it. It's a big step on the way to having a better business, which gives a better lifestyle.
That's what it's all about. Being in business should give you more life. Fantastic. Thanks very much, Liz. I really appreciate that. And all the best for the future.
All right. Thanks, Mick.
Cheers.
See you soon. Bye.